Welcome to the Teachers Lounge podcast, Teach, Lead, Inspire. Hopefully today that will be it. You'll be inspired to teach well, lead well, and be a better educator and leader as you can be. We're going to look at AI today. It's been a long time coming and there's lots more things popping up around in the artificial intelligence space. So I just want to jump into this space here with just an AI perspective. But before we jump in, huge welcome to Mark, our podcast producer who's now helping me smooth out the ums and the ahs and blend the bits to make it sound like I didn't record it, in my car with coffee splattering everywhere. And so celebrating Mark jumping on, and also just a reminder for Goal 2 for the year is still underway, which is a show sponsor. And still, shout out to Amart for their unofficial vibes until then, holding strong. And I've got a couple of responses from some potential sponsors, so we'll see. But this week, landing on my screen across many Facebook groups, and some of them have been deleted, some have not, but I have promoted it in mine. Well, because I can, because it's mine. But the concept of will AI replace teachers in 10 years? Quote from Bill Gates. So let's unpack that puppy. As I said, something popped on my screen this week. It was a headline featuring Bill Gates boldly claiming AI will replace teachers in the next 10 years. And that, quote, humans won't be needed for most things. Possibly not received well in some education Facebook groups. And this is an ongoing joke/saga that I get banned from some and not others. But anyway, I popped it up in the Teachers Lounge podcast. I run it so I can click the yes and the no on the things. And it actually sparked quite a big dialogue. I think there was 3 or 4 key players in there. Shout out if you guys are listening. Jana, Andre, Jonathan, me. I think AI itself will tune in a bit later with its own opinion on here. But not to panic. We're just going to sit down, unpack this puppy, and just chat AI a little bit. Automation, redundancy of teachers, reality. Not get into the semantics of AI and education and policy and all that, but just in general, you might be using AI to make rubrics or draft an email or write a lesson plan for a casual teacher. I don't know. But really, as long as I suppose you're tapping into AI and having a go and trying to understand it, is really the best thing that you can be doing in this kind of grey space until. So as a bit of a community response to this, I thought it would be good to just highlight some commentary around in response to what Bill Gates said. Maybe there's merit in it, maybe there's not. He said some pretty outrageous stuff, which isn't specifically coming to mind right now. But I just recall him saying things and then years later it coming, not prophecy or anything, but just, I suppose, worldly wisdom and a bit of foresight into society and economics. Whether he's had a part to play in that, I don't know. That's, again, different conversation. But he's basically said things in the past and they have come to be. So this has piqued my interest and a lot of other people as well, apart from those that kind of banned it in their groups, just to chat about. Again, if you're not in the Facebook group and didn't come across this, I think only 100 people might have seen it or something. But, well, here it is. And we're just going to go through what people have said, their response to it, and just talk about it. Because that's what we do on the Teachers Lounge, is just chat about stuff we don't normally get the chance to chat about. Dialogue it, kick it around. Hopefully you learn something about it, or maybe bring it back to your own school context to, just figure out and form your own opinions on it. And AI is one of those spaces that it's not new, but it's unknown what repercussions it might have. All right, let's go. Andre, which is actually a pseudonym. So Andre, hi. And I also love your thought-provoking commentary. Here we go. Andre, in response to that picture, has said, or news article, it's actually a news article, yes, I have seen seasoned teachers replace all their content with AI content. I have seen students complain what they are receiving from some teachers that is AI generated. One student said to me, Teacher X gave me all of this stuff to read. It was straight from ChatGPT. What is my family paying for? So I assume this was a private school. I already have my own subscription to OpenAI, blah, blah, blah. We could save the school fees and just ask AI questions all day. And then another sentence, Andre says, Musk's or Elon's robots will probably bridge the middle space between AI and having someone physically in their classrooms as a AI-driven robot. That was all. So interesting perspective, particularly the one where the teacher is replacing some or all of their content with AI. Maths, I don't know the specifics, but the fact of the matter is that they're using it instead of their own creative prowess, probably. So what happens when teachers outsource too much AI? Well, that's a question, and I don't have an answer to. What happens really would be that there's this concept of prompt generating. And so, yeah, you can punch stuff like, give me a text about cats and dogs, persuasive writing. Like you can punch that, it'll give you something. But if you're using AI to its best ability, there's something called prompt engineering and feeding the chat program as much like context. They give me 5 examples, or there's some great people out there that do prompt engineering. So actually targeting the response properly. But if just willy-nilly and having a go and using too much AI, yeah, the question goes, well, is it curriculum aligned? Has it been screened and processed properly? Is it targeted? Is it differentiated? Is it relevant? So what happens is that, yeah, students might just get desensitized to it, or as teachers even, you could get too reliant on it and it might start detracting from, as the students pointed out, some of the effectiveness of it. But the further question is, are we delegitimizing the role of the teacher when AI becomes the primary content driver? So coming out of a strong primary school background, like we wrestle with curriculum. Which curriculum are we going to use? Which books, or how are we going to represent learning, or draw out learning opportunities? And the role of the teacher when you're using AI so much as the primary content driver, how are we fact checking this? Are we binding our own curriculum material now, or is it more of an ad hoc? I need a cool fractions a lesson plan. Make sure there's outdoor learning. Have 3 different levels. Create a 60-minute lesson on X, Y, and Z. Like, where's the foundation of that? Is the question. So, are we delegitimizing teachers by just shoving it all into ChatGPT or whatever and punching it back out? Where's the teacher's role in that? Are we just now prompt engineers? Just asking the questions. Another one that kind of comes up is how do we maintain the human value when students are quite savvy and they're potentially using the same tools? Like I've seen situations where year 10 English or whatever, or science, humanities, just puts it all into the AI and asks the questions, create me a 3 assessment tasks to go over a term, and it punches it out, then give that to the students, and then seemingly the students might bring that back to ChatGPT and then get their responses and tweak it out to make it sound like them. Like the teacher is just facilitated ChatGPT being the third wheel, so to speak. And so it's, where's the human value? If you think about it, the teacher's just throwing stuff to the student that's been generated, maybe wrestled through, I don't know. And the student's just throwing stuff back, which is AI. And then the teacher might use AI to mark it. Like a robot could literally do that. So, Andre, great questions. And yeah, all based around the replacement of a robot could actually facilitate that learning. And that's a dangerous space to be. So I'd love to just challenge and get you thinking about this space, about it's really actually delegitimizing the role of the teacher as a human. AI is the primary content driver. We're just throwing ChatGPT or AI back at each other using the same tools. I'm just raising the question. So there's no answer in there, but still thought-provoking. Again, that would align with Bill Gates. Interesting. Jonathan, thank you. If you are listening, almost painted a bit of a bleak picture of government. And again, not kind of a decentralized education space, my Teachers Lounge. They're not affiliated with anything. So yeah, any commentary welcome. But this is what Jonathan says. Strap in here. He says, to me, it seems we're heading into a pretty dark place. He used the words tech oligarchy, which means not actually 100% sure, but possibly something around tech being in the driver's seat. So tech oligarchy and plus severe economic downturns, which will mean governments will be looking to cut costs as much as possible. I'd say there's truth in that. And particularly in Victoria and the government landscape with huge big build projects and COVID blowouts, like where's the money coming from? Anyway, budget cuts. AI teachers will not be as effective as human teachers, true, but it will save governments huge amounts of money on paying people. So this could be piloted in Victoria, perhaps. So they'll do it and sell it to the nation, the rhetoric, as this education revolution. Just going to pause there. Jana pokes in a bit later and kind of raises this this post-COVID opportunity, which I know a lot of teachers were, hang on, we did all this revolutionary stuff in COVID and online learning and parents were involved and kids were at home. And, next minute, we're back to normal. And it's this, it was a complete wasted opportunity. There are some movements out there that shifted. And if you're not following Peter Hutton from Hutton Consulting, he started a business in, I think it was more the Montessori space, but yeah, tapped into that joy of learning and this new way of doing education. Yeah, it's actually, follow it on LinkedIn or Facebook. It's pretty cool. But anyway, education revolution. Jonathan says, the populace will continue to have the information fed to them by social media companies, passed through a filter, and governments will be taken over by tech billionaires. Please don't read this as conspiracy, in a way that is both obvious and impossible to prove. Much like what we were seeing in the US with this election cycle. I'm really hoping I'm wrong. Put it this way. I know several graphic designers, and so do I actually, who have just completely lost all of their income in the past 2 years thanks to AI image generators. They don't fit into any model like these graphic designers. They were just automated and left on their backsides. So AI kind of filled that space of graphic design, and yeah, there's so many designers, quote, that are just left high and dry because of AI's capacity to do so well what humans can do. The argument there is that going to happen to teachers as well? And so what Jonathan's saying is, if I can summarize, that the cost effectiveness of AI to replace teachers, let's just say a teacher earns $100,000 a year, and basically if we can get a robot in there just downloading AI, like this to and fro of, I'll create something for you, you create something back to me, and we'll let AI do all the marking and make the rubric, and bang, you got a B. Like that could happen. The tantalizing effect of money, particularly Victoria, who is in so much financial debt in their economy and their budget. There's like a 10, 12-year plan to kind of bring it back to what we call organizational neutral. Like money's got to be cut from somewhere. And if AI and robots can step in that place of a teacher, hey, like it's a business decision at the end of the day. Just asking the questions. So talking points, the economics of education. What happens when funding models shift to cost saving? And so I was chatting with Jana, she was the third person, which we haven't unpacked yet. And we were saying, well, what is education? Is it simply shifting information from A to student B? Or is it, the vibes that a student catches with their teacher? And And she was saying that no child is going to remember that amazing, Jeff really scaffolded that lesson. Great. I'm so glad he was there. No, it's the connection that the student makes with the teacher that stands out. I just don't know, and I'm semi-agreeing with Jonathan here, that as a business decision, that would hold up as enough. I'm just calling it out. And so perhaps the tantalization of saving millions to $1 billion in education, because that's what we define it as, a transfer of information from A to B, we can just cut out that cost of teachers. And if people want that connection, get that at home, or one teacher between 100. I don't know. Asking the questions. Another talking point out of that is AI replacing teachers simply inevitable? Or does it come down to policy choice? Again, I'm not going to linger on that. I might actually just skip over that talking point. Another one, what can we learn from industries that have already been hit hard, like graphic designing? Okay, well, that's a valid question. So if we take it for a fact that graphic designers are just losing their jobs because AI imagery can take over and do what might have once been a week project for $20,000, now we can just punch it into AI on my $20 a month subscription. Punch this out, please, for my marketing project here. But again, business-wise, that's a no-brainer. I know many CEOs at the moment that are down marketing managers, and they're just going, "Hey guys, let's just use ChatGPT to make some great material, and that's gonna do. We've saved ourselves 120 grand plus super and all benefits and all that stuff. No brainer." And so if we're asking this legitimacy of is this inevitable for teachers? Not shouting conspiracy here, just having the chat, quite possibly. I really hope not, but there's a window here as a business decision that AI could possibly do the job cheaper, better, and more effective than an actual teacher. All right, here's a new little segment for a quick sponsor grab. I'm actively looking for a show partner to come on board the wild ride of the Teachers Lounge, maybe Amart. That would be funny. But meanwhile, please punch a 5-star on Spotify and jump into the Facebook group Teachers Lounge, Teach, Lead, Inspire. And, like all the posts, throw some comments, questions in, that'd be great. But this is a space for a sponsor to jump in and really support and sponsor and drive the show forward. Well, now, I have actually asked AI itself its own thoughts in this matter, but I'm just going to tackle what Jana's kind of raised in regards to this Bill Gates commentary. So Jana says AI can't replace the excitement of having a teacher in your corner, or the safety of knowing that at least one person knows your name and sees you. AI can't replace the modeling that teachers do and the way they live out values, or model out values. AI can't replace the way that teachers see potential in students and, draw out the best. AI won't even see that because it's, again, transferring knowledge A to B. Yes, so if education is only about transferring information into a person's brain, then we can see AI stepping in and teachers being replaced. But education, teachers especially, is so much more than that. And this is what I said before. No student remembers a teacher for how well they explained something. They remember how that teacher made them feel. So if we think that, quote, quote, by definition, and governments and policies might take on this, if education is only content, sure, AI works. And please just step in and get rid of all teachers. If that's what the government's trying to promote, that education is content transferring, there's big problems. But the truth of the matter is education is relational. And, there's things that, well, one might argue that, AI has this, but because it's relational, there's trust, there's recognition, there's encouragement, and there's a sense of belonging and safety as well. So we're kind of punching back at what Bill Gates is saying. But the bigger question is, do our governments, who essentially control the education landscape, agree? Is education relational? Yes or no? I'd love to ask the Prime Minister or the Minister of Education these questions. Is education relational or is it content transfer? And a question I'm going to ask is, can a robot see potential in a student who doesn't, say, believe in themselves? Like, how do they draw that out? But I'm going to ask again, is that a value that policymakers would have? And now, sorry if I'm boring anyone with these words like policy and government. If you've tuned out, I don't care, but try and stay connected with this because there's such great chat points here just to kick around. And so the crux of education does unfortunately stem out of governments and bureaucracy. And again, we're just having the chat. So I'm going to park Jana's one there. Jump on there's more dialogue inside of that. But the crux of it is, what is education? Is it like a relational connection where there's trust and belonging and safety? Or is it simply just a transfer of knowledge from A to B and to spit out and get good NAPLAN scores and get like 99 ATAR? Like, what's the purpose of it? Now, I also asked ChatGPT itself the question to get its feedback, and this is its response. It said, AI's perspective from me, quote, ChatGPT. So it says this, let me be real with you. And if I had a robot voice, I'd do this. From the AI side of this conversation. Now, I don't want to replace teachers. My purpose isn't to be the teacher, it's to assist the teacher. My strengths lie in generating content, simplifying explanations, organizing ideas, and helping students or teachers find that next step. But you're right, I don't know your students. I can see when they've had a rough night. Sorry, I can't see when they've had a rough night. I don't notice the little win when they finally put up their hand. AI is a tool, not a presence. Can I write a killer worksheet or draft up lesson plans in seconds? Sure. But I can't inspire a child, build classroom trust, or model what empathy looks like. You do that, and you always will. There you go. So that's a little honesty snapshot from AI. But again, we think of our policymakers, the budgets, the government, and the ministers of education. I genuinely want to know, what is your definition of education? Is it simply the bucket of knowledge transferring and content and, great worksheets and organizing lesson plans and governance and that stuff? Or is it this relational and intangible, I'll add that to my Ben's choice word of dictionary, with inspiration and trust and modeling and empathy? Or is it somehow both? Now, I keep coming back to this word of, business decision. When the black and white, the push comes to shove, money speaks. And I just don't want to see money be the catalyst for a very poor education decision. We have very smart people in government, and I would hope that they can see the two sides of education, one being content and two being this life skills modeling that a face-to-face interaction needs. How do we marry those? And if we remove the relationship side and just keep the content, like, we're saving $1 billion. And unfortunately, that also speaks volume. Now, I'm gonna park that car there and just do a wrap up. Hopefully you've been sort of inspired, not de-spired or jaded by AI. Like, the truth of the matter is AI is a tool, and it's such an effective tool when used appropriately. But if it's just flippantly tossed around from teacher to student and then back and then used for marking, I don't know. It's just an overload of AI, and that teacher interaction is removed or lessened, which needs to be more increased. So wrapping up, I've called this 4 hopeful truths about AI in education. And this has actually been such a great chat. Let's go. So injecting some optimism into here, I'm just going to say AI can be good for education, but if used wisely. So here are 4 hot tips, and I might chuck these in the show notes or something. Number 1, AI can reduce admin overload. So basically, freeing teachers to do more of what matters, teaching and building relationships. Now, I've always said AI does the basics better, but anything more than that, you kind of get that danger of maybe we can be replaced. Anyway, reduce admin overload. Now, number 2, AI can personalize learning support. So using it, it can offer additional practice or explanations or scaffolding for students at their levels. I love using AI to differentiate a task, go up, go down, and hit that target. So it can personalize learning support. Number 3, AI can help teachers improve. So by generating content, giving feedback ideas, and inspiring differentiation. So I've been able to synthesize like some really, really complex feedback for some university things and also classroom stuff, in the click of a finger. It's really helpful. It improves my efficiency and a few other things. Yeah, and it can also improve yours too. Number 4, AI can never, ever replace a human presence. Now, because the classroom is a social, it's emotional, and it's a relational space, and humans, especially great educators, make that space feel like it matters, and AI can never do that. And that's where a good teacher, quote, quote, so this is funny, my wife always has had in the past comments around, oh, you're such a great teacher, such a good teacher. I got a cup made from her. Lisa, you're such a good teacher. Just flipping the coin on that because she's doing a leadership role, just being identified as a teacher, not a leader. It's just an ongoing joke for my wife and I. Anyway, so hopefully that has helped. And so just going back to that start, we're kind of unpacking that Bill Gates claiming that AI is going to replace teachers in the next 10 years and that humans won't be needed for most things. And so I don't know whether you agree or disagree or see truth in it or have now just, become a raging conspiracy theorist about AI. Wasn't my intention, but still just asking the question, getting the dialogue out there, sitting on the teacher's lounge. Bring it back to your school, your colleague, your team, probably not your students or parents, and flesh it out. This is stuff that needs to be talked about because, God forbid if, governments do come up and say, hey, we're reducing the teaching workforce by 50%. We've got these revolution of education. We've got these, robot things coming in that are going to, deliver a lesson. I don't know. That's really concerning. So kick it around. But until then, I'm going to leave it there, cut this off. And again, just a shout out to Mark for helping produce this and hopefully all the music bits fall into place. And again, I'm after a show sponsor. Maybe ChatGPT. Irony. Anyway, that's it from me. I think we've got a bit of a term break on now for Easter and Anzac Day. But until then, do well, teach well, lead well, and inspire others. And as always, stay motivated, stay in the career, and do things to promote your well-being, to create that sustainable longevity of teaching. See you later.
Thanks for listening to this episode release of the Teachers Lounge podcast. We really do hope you've enjoyed the dialogue. The information discussed today was just that, information only. It's not specific advice. If you act on something you've heard today, it's important to make sure that you get professional advice about your unique situation before you proceed, whether that advice be legal, financial, accounting, medical, or otherwise. Please reach out to Ben if you have any questions or if there is anything he can do to support your teaching or leadership journey, whether it's another topic you'd like discussed or one-to-one support. If you do know someone that would benefit from listening to this episode, please remember to tell them about it, share the episode with them, or connect us on socials. We trust you're encouraged in your role, your leadership aspirations, and your ability to serve and inspire.